Live from Arkansas' streaming news leader, this is THV 11 Morning News at 7 on THV 11 Plus.
Good morning and welcome to THV 11 Plus. The gang is almost all here. We're missing Hayden Balgavy this morning. Hopefully he's sleeping in, just has a day off. But Tracy and Ashley and I are all here to keep you informed. Traffic, weather, news. We gotcha.
Yeah. All you have to do is sit there, have your coffee. You can even take us out on the porch. It'll be fine.
Yep. If you have a virtual Apple Watch anywhere, we're on the app. You can find us there.
Watch us on your phone.
Go
That's a good thing about the app. You can take us. I was telling someone yesterday, Tracy, that this weather, it does not feel like the holidays. There's Christmas music on the radio now. And then I'm driving and I'm like, it's 80.
And it kind of has that humidity, and that may be contributing to your cold.
I'm going to show you that in a minute.
Yeah.
You mentioned that earlier, and so I'm going to show you once weather pops up what that humidity feels like. And you were like, yep, there it is. So in case you weren't all aware, we all packed up and we moved to Florida. And because that's what it feels like right now.
Yeah. It feels like this southern Florida.
Exactly.
Right. So when you're in your car this morning, you probably still have the air conditioner going. At least I did.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, so this is what it looks like on our roads this morning. We don't really have any issues with our traffic, so it's, while you're cruising in Florida this morning, just kidding. But what it feels like, this is what it looks like. We're starting to see on Interstate 30 the volume pick up, as you can see, as you're heading eastbound on Interstate 30. This is around Alexander, and this is what it looks like. We've got an increase in traffic in our usual spots. We're seeing the North Terminal interchange, and then of course 30 eastbound slowing down around Alexander, anywhere from the Outlet Mall to about Bryant right now, moving at about 35 miles per hour just before you get to Alexander. North Terminal interchange was looking a little bit slow too, so we'll check the speed of that in a few minutes. This is what it looks like coming in from Conway, Benton, and Cabot into downtown Little Rock. So if you're commuting in, it's not really a major slowdown, pretty average, but give yourself some extra time because it's just now 7:02. So Tracy, that it starts to pick up here in the 7 o'clock hour.
Yeah, we are going to see that traffic certainly pick up. Right now, we're mainly just seeing some clouds. It's a little breezy out there, so hold on to that steering wheel. We don't have any advisories or anything like that for wind out there right now. But again, those gusts of 20 to 25 kind of knock you around a little bit. So stay safe this morning. We are starting out again with some cloud cover and those breezy conditions as we are kicking things off. Actually, that humidity is at 87%. So we're all feeling it as we are heading out the door this morning. But those winds are helping a little bit. Currently southwesterly around 16 miles per hour. And again, we've already seen a gust of 25, and that will continue through the majority of the day. Around the state, we're already seeing some 70s too. It's just 7:02. Calm down. We are looking at those temperatures continuing to rise again as we're heading throughout the afternoon. Today, upper 70s with a little cloud cover and breezy conditions, and we'll start to see a little sunshine this afternoon as well. And around the state, again, upper 70s, even some low 80s, believe it or not. 84 in Fort Smith. We're supposed to be much cooler than this. And when will that happen? Well, we're going to cool off a little bit. We've got some rain headed our way, and we're going to talk more about the impacts of that rain and exactly how much rain we could get coming up in just a few minutes.
Happening now, a high school assistant principal and boys basketball coach in England, Arkansas, is in jail this morning accused of multiple sex crimes against a student. Police have arrested Trenton Morgan. As the investigation unfolds, officers now say they have even more evidence from inside Morgan's Lonoke County home that will strengthen their case. THV 11's Tamer Knight is live in England this morning following this story. Tamer, bring us an update on what's happening right now.
Well, Karen, that's right. We're learning new details on just how quickly this investigation is moving. Now, the investigation comes after reports of inappropriate sexual misconduct with a minor was reported to a school resource officer earlier yesterday morning. Now, that report prompted an immediate joint investigation between the England Police Department and the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office. Now, within hours, detectives were able to obtain an arrest warrant, and Trenton Morgan was taken into custody. Officers then executed a search warrant at Morgan's home, and as THV 11 watched exclusively as several evidence bags were carried out of his home and loaded into a law enforcement vehicle. They say the evidence will help strengthen their investigation. Now, this morning I spoke with the Chief of Police, Richard Friend, and he tells me more search warrants are expected to come down today, and after several calls, there could be more victims.
Right now, we're preparing additional search warrants for other locations, to include vehicles and to include recovering digital evidence and things at the high school. We're working closely with the administration of the high school. They've been completely cooperative, and we're trying to make sure that it's a complete investigation, that we're able to recover the digital, physical, and DNA evidence that we need to complete this case.
Now, the England School District confirmed that Morgan is now on administrative leave and says they are fully cooperating with investigators. Now, England schools were out of yesterday, but is expected to return to normal scheduled school hours today with resources available to staff and students. Now, right now, the investigation is ongoing, and we can confirm that Mr. Morgan is expected to be in court tomorrow at the Lonoke County Courthouse starting at 8 a.m. We'll have those details on air and on THV11.com. But for right now, reporting in England, I'm Tamer Knight for THV11 News.
All right, looks like more search warrants will be executed. Thank you, Tamer. Voters in Sherwood are heading into a special election today to decide 3 separate bond measures, each connected to a proposed 0.75% sales tax increase. The first plan gives the city authority to issue just over $4 million in refunding bonds. The second centers on recreation, asking voters to approve nearly $80 million for major improvements across city parks. The third proposal would grant approval for up to $11.5 million for the design and the construction of a new animal shelter. State law requires each bond question to be listed and voted on individually, even though they do appear on the same ballot. Little Rock board members will be waiting a little bit longer to vote on a resolution calling for Director Ken Richardson to step down. The agenda item is now pushed to December 15th. It had been scheduled for discussion at tonight's meeting. Richardson hasn't attended a board meeting since May of last year, citing an unspecified health issue, but it's raising some concerns among residents that their part of the city is not being properly represented. To Washington now, the House is to vote today on a measure aimed at forcing the release of the Epstein files. The vote follows President Trump's reversal as he now publicly urges Republicans to back the effort. Bradley Blackburn reports on what could happen next.
I think it'll be a large vote out.
In Washington, the House is expected to vote today on the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and it's expected to have at least the 2/3 majority needed to pass.
I think the public has the right to know.
This isn't about President Trump. I mean, this is about women who are seeking justice and finally getting it.
A bipartisan group was already pushing toward this vote when President Trump Sunday changed his position and said he now supports releasing the files, though he still says the Epstein issue is a hoax.
It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them, and it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax.
Questions about the president's ties with Epstein were renewed last week after the release of emails from the late convicted sex trafficker and one-time Trump friend. The president has said they had a falling out more than a decade ago, and he had no knowledge of Epstein's crimes. If the measure passes, it would go to the Senate, where the majority leader hasn't yet promised to take it up. Monday night, the words "release the files now" were projected onto the Justice Department, and some lawmakers are concerned that the president's push for new investigations into the Epstein case could limit what's released.
They may be trying to use those investigations as a predicate for not releasing the files.
Some survivors of Epstein's abuse are expected to speak outside the Capitol Tuesday morning ahead of the House vote. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
President Trump says $2,000 rebate checks could be on the way to every American, though Congress would have to approve them first. The Treasury Secretary says the payments would target working families and include some income limits. Trump predicts the rebates could arrive around mid-2026, but legal and financial hurdles do remain. The Supreme Court, for one, is reviewing the tariffs that are meant to fund the checks, and analysts say even if the tariffs stand, the math doesn't add up. So $2,000 for every American would cost roughly $600 billion. That's far more than the $200 to $300 billion that the tariffs would bring in. Now let's turn back to Ashley King, get a check of the traffic at this busy time of day.
That's right. Yeah, 7:09. We usually see it really increase at this time of the morning, and it is starting to get a little bit busier. Of course, 30 eastbound is where we see a lot of traffic, but right now we're seeing some slowdowns on Interstate 430 Maumelle right before the Arkansas River Bridge because of this vehicle off to the left-hand shoulder, and we have a towing truck, as you can see, removing this vehicle, but it is causing some slowdowns because he had to get off to the left-hand shoulder, but it's also blocking that left lane a little bit too. So now law enforcement is on the scene to make sure that they are safe, and again, that is slowing it down a little bit, and you can see that on our live traffic map right there on the 430 River Bridge. You can also see that it's starting to slow down a little on the North Terminal interchange, but where we're really seeing the slowdown and where we do every morning on your commute is here around Alexander on 30 eastbound, and it's moving at almost 40 miles per hour around Alexander. So not too bad right now, but it's definitely slow from about the Bass Pro Shop to Bryant. And this is what our drive times look like. It's looking pretty good if you're coming in from Conway, starting to increase just a little bit. And of course, we're seeing it increase by 3 or 4 minutes too, coming in from Saline County and Cabot. Tracy?
All right, well, at least the weather's not giving us any trouble this morning,
True.
but I am concerned about Thursday and maybe even the commute home. We'll have to see about the morning time, but then Friday morning as well. We've got these well above average temperatures that will continue as we're heading through the rest of the week, but I think tomorrow is going to be the day we're going to see that highest temperature before we start to make that downward trend, but it's still going to be above average. We have that weather impact, again, advisory as we are looking into Thursday, and I've extended it into Friday morning. We're going to see that rain really start to pick up as we are heading into the later part of the week. And, overall for the next couple of days, we could see a few little scattered showers, really not a lot of activity to talk about before we start to see a lot of that rain pushing in on Thursday. But that boundary, as it makes its way through, we are seeing that southern Arkansas first. This is going to be Thursday morning around 5. But yeah, this is around 8:30 in the morning. So we certainly could see some issues with our commute. We're going to get a little break here in central Arkansas, but then we're going to start to see that ramp back up in the overnight hours. And then this is going to be as we are heading into work and school Friday morning. So keeping that in mind, we're going to have to make sure that we are staying safe. And of course, Ashley and I will be here to make sure you get to where you need to be on time. And we'll talk about those rainfall totals coming up in a few minutes.